Why is Vim adding a new line? Is this a convention? If I open Vim and type, IDEST in LT, escape in GT, column WQ, then I get a file that has no new lines in Vim but does seem to have a new line in the code. If I open Vim and type, IDEST in LT, return in GT semicolon and LT, escape in GT, column WQ, then I get a file that has one new line in Vim but two new lines in the code. Note that I am opening Vim with none, so there is no local configuration being used. Note also that this might be related to a previous question of mine. This is my system info. I can confirm the exact same behavior on this system as well. Why is Vim adding a new line? Is this a convention? Here is some clarification about the HD command as installed on Ubuntu server.
The convention for Unix text files is that every line is terminated by a new line, and that new lines are line terminators, not line separators. When Vim saves a buffer as a file, it terminates every line with the end-of-line sequence for that file format, which for Unix is a new line. See? If you're using Unix text processing tools, it's best to stick with this convention. However, if you have some need to not put a new line at the end of the last line of a file, you can do so. Vim considers such files to be binary. See?
Vim 8.0 now provides for this with the Fixio option. Specifically if you do, then Vim won't add a trailing newline character at the end of the final line if the file didn't already have one. That could go in a file type plugin, or possibly even your .vimmerk. This is an improvement on column set binary, because it only affects the final line break character, whereas binary also changes a bunch of other behaviors, which you probably don't want unless you're actually editing a binary file. A newly created file will still have a trailing line break character by default. You can change that, and switch a file that already has a final new line to not having one, by additionally doing. That has to be set specifically for each file you wish to change. Loading a file into a buffer will always set EOL to match the file's current state.
Unterminated text files are evil for multiple reasons. Here's one that I haven't seen mentioned yet. In a hypothetical world where text files without a trailing new line are acceptable, there would be no difference between a file containing 0 lines and a file containing 1 blank line. They'd both be represented by a 0-byte file. Inability to decide how many lines are in a file would be bad.
Vim is not adding anything that you didn't put there yourself. A newline character is not a new line and both examples are perfectly normal. In the first one, the file only contains 1 line so you get 1 new line character. In the second one, the file contains 2 lines so you get 2 new line characters.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.